My name is Hagai Bar-El. I'm Senior Director of Security for Pelion. My primary responsibility is product security governance and leadership of the security group. Okay, so one of the biggest problems with security in general is that of coverage. Security is unlike other areas of engineering. I mean, in general engineering, you design one phase at a time. You remove abstraction layers in the engineering process. So for example, you have product requirements, then you have a system specification, then HLD, LLD, etc. So this way, you know when you're done. It's crystal clear when your objectives are met. Your code meets a spec, that spec meets the earlier spec, the spec that came before it, and so forth. As opposed to that, in security, there is one phase in the engineering process which is just not linear. This is the phase at which you move from the descriptive security objectives level to the prescriptive engineering language that's required to get things done eventually. So this is where security is art as much as it's science, and that's also where security often breaks. For example, that phase in engineering is where a generic objective like that of users have to be properly authenticated is translated into specific authentication schemes along with their implementation considerations. And that's true for security in general, but in IoT, the situation is yet even more critical because IoT systems are heterogeneous and they are inherently complex. So this challenge manifests itself in more places. In security in general, you don't really know when you're done. And one obvious problem it causes is that you often stop too early and leave holes behind. Another problem is that it crushes your appetite to improve and for engineers to actually follow you, because what kind of a leader are you if you keep asking for more and more, you're never satisfied with what you get, and you cannot really ever report how far off you are. So that's the biggest challenge with security. It's the challenge of coverage. So in Pelion, we treat product security governance as science. I mean, we use a mechanical, almost algorithmic approach to product security governance. We know at every moment where we stand, even for very large projects. So for example, we know what our measurable risks are and what our non-measurable risks are. We algorithmically measure our posture and then we can demonstrate it. And demonstrating it is very important. Security has to be seen, okay? Security, which is all about prevention, is almost impossible to prove. So security, well, as I normally say, so please don't laugh, it's half about technology and half about scientific storytelling. And testing or treating in general product security governance as science doesn't only improve security, it improves the confidence in the IoT deployment process. And this is confidence that's required for large IoT projects, which are always high risk. Okay, so I actually have two top tips, if I may. One is work in an organized fashion. I mean, don't produce endless lists of security requirements, but have a solid structure of what you want to achieve, and then you move to how without ever mixing the two. That's, I think, the most important part, particularly for large complex projects where the lists are endless and they are never done. Which brings me to the second tip. Be prepared for that most of your security requirements are not implemented all at once. You have to be able to tell the implication of all that's imperfect at any moment of the project process. If your security management is focused on perfection, then you'll get perfection indeed, because your project will just never be launched. So have a security governance process in place that truly recognizes that security is something that you'll never be done with. So I guess that second tip boils down to know how to be properly imperfect by design.